Grant Piper, welcome to our little program today. Grant, just fill me on the Reckless Renewables Rally. I've had some criticism for attending. Why would they possibly criticise farmers like yourself, drawing attention to some of the issues around renewable energy?
Yeah, I don't know, but I noticed in all the attacks that came out in the press and the other side afterwards, so they're all criticising us, but none of them addressed the message, or none of them addressed the fundamental issues and the engineering shortcomings or anything like that. It was just attacking us for being some sort of Neanderthals, I guess.
Grant, what I want to know is, in a nutshell, what was the issue and the message you were trying to get across?
Well, the main issue is this stuff doesn't work and is 100% counterproductive. There's a lot of people that burrow into different areas of the argument, and that's fine. And we're directly affected, and so farmland is directly affected. And yes, there's local environmental impacts, and there's concrete, and there's steel, and there's birds, and there's the poor consultation process. I mean, the whole process is terrible, and they're all real issues in themselves. But what no one seems to want to talk about, some of the speakers spoke about it, and I always try and speak about it, is the whole scheme is fundamentally flawed. And that's what we want a review of. We want someone with technical knowledge to look at the engineering veracity of the integrated system plan, because at the moment, it just seems to get a free wave straight through, and no one's allowed, or no one questions the reason we're doing this and how it's being done, whether you believe in climate change and CO2 bad or anything like that. What we're doing and what is planned is totally counterproductive to achieving the stated aim.
What about the cost?
Yeah,
the raw dollars.
The raw dollars, I don't know the raw dollars. I just know there's lots of numbers, big numbers there, and other people have done the sums on that. And it's unaffordable to build the integrated system plan the way it's forecast. If you're going to build that number of turbines, that amount of transmission, and that amount of solar, we don't have the minerals, we don't have the money. It's just a dream sheet. So I just don't understand how it got so far down the criticism from anyone apart from us. I mean, why does a farmer have to come and point this out? We shouldn't have to be doing this. It should have been vetted for its basic assumptions before it even saw the light of day.
So you're saying we should have full inquiry now into the actual costs of what is being proposed?
Yes, the cost and the engineering behind it. Is it going to actually work? That's all. I'd like some engineering analysis of how we're going to power the country with 80% renewables or 100% renewables and have it actually work. I mean, the AMO has a paper out 2023 where they looked into it, and there was 300 outstanding technical issues, and they decided to do further investigation on something like 174, and 12 months later, the end of last year, they issued an update on that, and they investigated about 40 something, but all their investigations were writing standards, writing requirements for inverters, basically trying to specify what they needed, like the operating characteristics they needed, but there wasn't any metal cut, there wasn't any engineering done, no one had built anything. So they're no closer to fixing the technical problems of converting massive DC power plants into stable synchronous AC that will go into the grid without causing disruption and the system to drop out. I mean, this the network from South Australia through to North Queensland is the longest network in the world, single network. So you can imagine the feedback and the inertia and the signals that are going up and down that network, and how hard that would be to stabilise and manage real time when you've got wind and solar dropping in and out, surging and falling. At the same time, you're trying to stuff battery power in to stabilise it, and then fire up gas turbine generators when the sun goes down and the wind stops for a bit longer. And that's basically what they're doing at the moment. And it's just a crazy objective. when it's all self-inflicted, and the materials to do all that and the minerals to do all that, you end up consuming more resources now and producing more CO2 now, if that's your thing, than you would if you burnt the fuel directly to produce electricity.
Yeah. Just a bit of background on yourself. As a farmer, 30 years ago, you had a fixed line, probably, fixed phone line. You had good television reception, etc., etc. Probably better communications as far as letters and communications goes. What's the situation now?
Yeah, well, we just work around it. I mean, digital television is a waste of time here. I wouldn't say we ever had a good reception. I mean, when I was growing up, it was black and white coming from Orange, and it was scratchy as. It did improve probably for a while, maybe late 80s, early 90s, but digital TV has been a total flop as far as we're concerned out here. So we just don't even bother trying to watch it. Not that I don't miss it much anymore. And the internet, obviously, we're on satellite. Mobile, I can't get. There's no Telstra coverage here at the house. I have to go up on the hill. We get a dribble of Optus at the house. And yeah, once upon a time, everyone had a landline, and there was a local phone book, and you could phone anyone. Now half the landlines are switched off. Telstra won't maintain them, or the owners decide they'll just do everything via mobile. But you don't have a phone book of mobile numbers. So unless you've got their number in your phone, or you use some WhatsApp, or you use one of the apps to message them as a friend, you sort of find, funnily, the community is actually more disconnected than what it probably was 30 years ago. Yeah.
So all the things we've put in place, we've actually let the community down, especially regional Australia.
Yeah, you might have 99% of Australia's population covered, but for the rest of us, it's got worse. Yes, it's not as egalitarian as it was. The post, we only get post 3 times a week, which is okay as long as it's reliable. We're used to it, but couriers, this mishmash between post and courier doesn't help us either, because you get a package, it might turn up in a town 100 kilometres away, and they send you a message and say, oh, look, we don't deliver to rural addresses, can you come and collect it? And that's no good to me. So it'd be good, again, if it was all consolidated into just Australia Post. At least you'd know where your packages were going.
Yeah, I understand. That's an interesting one. I can take that up with Australia Post. But Australia Post would say that they're supplying the service, wouldn't they?
Well, Australia Post, look, they do a decent job. Our local postmaster's been doing it for many years. He's trying to sell the business, but I don't know what will happen then. But they say, they forward on packages, or they give us a note, and it's only 25 kilometres to go into town to pick up the package.
Yeah.
It's just the courier the problem, because the courier contracts will say they're meant to deliver to your door, but no rural courier delivers to your door, but they won't tell DHL or the parent company that. So they just drop it in town and drive away, because they don't want to fess up that they haven't actually delivered it to your door. And when you phone up to complain, you go, look, I didn't get my package. They go, oh, no, it was delivered on Thursday. And you go, well, I haven't got it. And they don't deliver to your door, and they just tell you, oh, no, the contract says they got to deliver to your door. And we know better.
Of course. Where to from here?
Back on topic. Well, we're still working on things in the background. We're actually meeting a barrister this week in Sydney, an expert in energy law, and we'll see if there's any avenues for the legal there. We're uniting possibly with a couple of, we're united with a few groups, but we're looking at aligning ourselves and getting some support from a bigger lobby group. And we're also looking to hold an energy summit, possibly out in the Central West Res sometime mid-year. And we're developing an alternative power plan, a citizens' power plan that's meant to deliver for the citizens and businesses and consumers, not for the the Twiggies and the Turnbulls of the world.
Yeah.
And we will table that at that summit as well, and get feedback from the experts that we invite along that attend. And we need to knuckle down and do that. So there probably won't be there won't be another rally straight away. I'm not planning one anyway.
No, unless it's spontaneous. Grant, thanks for coming on today. Thanks for being with us. I know we have a few struggles with the internet to get onto you sometime, but this is very important. Keep us, so I can keep the public around me informed about what you're doing, especially that conference in the middle of the year. I'll certainly try and attend that myself, and I wish you all the very, very best. And thanks for the work that you're doing.
Thanks for the time and the interest.
Thanks, Grant.